Welcome to the LaSalle Academy Library. It's located on the second floor of the main building, and it opens each morning at 7:30 and closes on most days at 3:30 in the afternoon, with the exception being on Wednesdays. Due to faculty meetings, the library closes at 1:35, and on Fridays it typically closes around 3 p.m. When you do come into the library, whether you're coming in before school or after school, or maybe you're coming in because your teacher has a lunch conflict and you're sitting at one of our seats, we ask that you scan in the QR code on the back of the seat and put in the number. And then at the end of the period before you leave, we just ask that you grab a sanitizing wipe and sanitize your chair and your seating area. A lot of times too, you're coming into print, and we actually have 7 computers to print from. There are 2 in these window wells on either side of the door when you first walk in. And then over here at the front of the library near the librarian's desk, across from it, there are 3 additional computers. And then if we go to the far back left corner, you will see that there are 2 additional computers to print from. You can print your assignment, like a 10-page assignment, however long it is. It will print over here on this copier, okay? If nothing comes out, it probably means 2 things. Either there's an issue with the copier, maybe it's out of paper or something, or more than likely what we have found is that students have tried to print more than 2 copies of something. Okay, as your printouts come out on the shelf. And if that's the case, nothing will come out. So, go back and make sure that you've only printed 2 copies, 1 copy or 2 copies of something. If you printed more than that, just print 1 copy, and if you need additional copies, just see a librarian for help and we can make those copies for you. Okay? Books. Books are very popular here in the library, whether it be for research or just something to read. Do know that you do not need a separate library card. Your school ID is actually your library card. If you happen to forget it, that's okay. We can look you up by your name. We will start over here. This is the reference section, and you can see the shelves are labeled reference. This is actually the end of the reference section. It's on these 3 shelves over here. And then on the other side of the librarian's desk, in the back corner where those 2 computers were, is actually the other half of the reference section, the beginning of it. You know that they're reference books because the call numbers on the books start with REF. Closer there, so you know it's reference books. And these are actually the only books in the library that you cannot check out. Okay, reference books are comprised mainly of encyclopedia. That's the most popular type of reference book, but there are also dictionaries, almanacs, and so forth. Okay, so what we do, since you can't check them out, what you can do is photocopy for free at no charge on the copier. Just see a librarian for help. Okay, then over here we have the beginning of the nonfiction section, and they're organized by the Dewey Decimal System. You can see on the side of each of these panels, you can see the Dewey numbers. And then if you look inside, you can see the call numbers on the side of the books, and that's so you would know where to find the book on the shelf. Okay? The call number you can find in the catalog. If you were just browsing for books, you could look at the numbers on the side. So if you were looking for a religion book, you would know to browse the 200s. And these shelves actually continue. There's 3 shelves over here of nonfiction books. Okay? And then we actually have 4 additional shelves of nonfiction books over here. So they kind of go along the perimeter of the library. Okay, ending over here in the 900s, which is history. Okay, biographies and autobiographies are on this far back wall on this shelf. And then there's on this shelf back down here against that wall. Okay, we have a number of special collections too. Probably the most used special collection is our Rhode Island collection, which is over here. Okay, so if you're doing research on Rhode Island or the cities and towns in Rhode Island, you would want to come to this back shelf over here. Okay, on this front wall, We have our periodical collection, which is magazines and newspapers. This year we are not receiving print newspapers due to COVID because they're a high-touch surface, but normally we do receive the Providence Journal and the New York Times. Okay, our magazines, we are still receiving them, but we actually are keeping them behind the librarian's desk up at the front. But if you're interested in any of these magazines, some are just for fun, like Mad Magazine. Some might help you in your classes, like The Week or Philosophy Now. You can borrow those just like a book and just ask a librarian for help, and we'll grab the magazine for you behind the desk. Okay. To the right on this shelf is our high school graphic novel collection. You can see we have quite a few. So if you're into graphic novels, this is where you would find them. Okay. When you first walk in the door, there's sort of this low shelf right here. This is our fiction collection. You can see it's labeled fiction. Okay. And this is where you would get books that are just fun to read, or maybe books that are assigned for a class. Okay, they're organized. You can see the FIC on the spine label, and that would correspond to the call number that you find in the catalog. So if you were looking for To Kill a Mockingbird, you would find it over here, FIC and LEE for the first three letters of the author's last name. Okay? All right, so that is our high school books. In this far room back here is our middle school library collection. Okay, there's some reference books in here, fiction, graphic novels, a little bit of nonfiction. They have their own magazines. You are certainly welcome to borrow anything that's back here. And there is a little overlap between the high school and the middle school library, so sometimes you might need to get a book back there, but just know that those are available for you as well. Okay, and anything, aside from the reference books that can't be checked out, anything else can be checked out, and the loan period is about 3 weeks. Okay, up at the librarian's desk up here, you will find your two librarians, Mrs. Trissler and Mrs. Hagen, and you can ask them to assist you with anything that you need. They also have additional resources up here at the desk. For instance, if you need pens, pencils, paper, tape, scissors, glue, magic markers, crayons, colored pencils, just ask them and they will loan those out to you. Okay? Finally, if you want to borrow a Chromebook, maybe you forgot your device for the day, we do have a few Chromebooks available for students. Just come to the desk, bring your cell phone with you, because you will actually scan a QR code and check it out that way. Okay? When you're done at the end of the day, you will bring the Chromebook and you will put it on this second shelf right here, and that's where you will drop it off. We also have Inspire calculators and other types of scientific calculators available for loan as well. Again, bring your cell phone with you and you will scan the QR code, and then when you're done with those, there is a little basket over here where you will return the calculator. Okay? Our book drop is actually temporarily located here for COVID reasons. Books that are collected in here at the end of the day, they are put behind the desk and they are actually held for 72 hours in quarantine before they are put back on the shelf for COVID reasons. Okay? If you have any questions, stop by the library. We'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you.